Madam Speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
The president just said that he will declare a national emergency when he signs this bill. Do you still plan to file a legal challenge if and when he does that, and how quickly would you do
Did I ever say I was filing a legal challenge?
You said Democrats
I
would
may. That's an option, and we'll review our options. But it's important to note that when the president declares this emergency, first of all, it's not an emergency, what's happening at the border. It's a humanitarian challenge to us. The president has tried to sell a bill of goods to America. But putting that aside, just in terms of the president making an end run around Congress, here he said, let us respect what the committee will do, and then walks away from it. The president is doing an end run about Congress, about the power of the purse. You've heard me say over and over again, Article 1, the legislative branch, the power of the purse, the power to declare war, many other powers listed in the Constitution, and, of course, the responsibility to have oversight. So the president is doing an end run around that. We will review our options. We'll be prepared to respond appropriately to it. I know the Republicans have some unease about it, no matter what they say, because if the president can declare an emergency on something that he has created as an emergency, an illusion that he wants to convey, just think of what a president with different values can present to the American people. You want to talk about a national emergency? Let's talk about today, the one-year anniversary of another manifestation of the epidemic of gun violence in America. That's a national emergency. Why don't you declare that emergency, Mr. President? I wish you would. But a Democratic president can do that. A Democratic president can declare emergencies as well. So the precedent that the president is setting here is something that should be met with great unease and dismay by the Republicans. And of course, we will respond accordingly when we review our options. First, we have to see what the president actually says.
With today's development that Trump has reportedly decided to sign a funding bill to keep the government open as he simultaneously signs a national emergency declaration to siphon funds for his border wall, Pelosi showed once again that he isn't playing in the same league as her. The Speaker of the House went on to tweet that prior uses of this executive power were during a swine flu outbreak during the Obama era and after 9/11 when Bush was president, during actual national emergencies, and that Trump's constant moves to hold the government hostage to extort money for his border wall are decidedly not a national emergency, but rather nothing more than a lawless, desperate abuse of power and a way to distract from his failure to deliver on his promise to get Mexico to pay for the wall. Clearly, it couldn't be much more obvious that there is no national emergency at the southern border. Apprehensions have been declining steadily for decades, and almost a year ago to the day, Trump himself tweeted that illegal border crossings are at a 45-year low. Republicans have falsely claimed that terrorists have been flooding in through Mexico, but the truth is that the southern border is by no means our most vulnerable point of entry. In the first half of 2018, only 6 people whose names match those on the terror watch list were stopped on the southern border. And recent record-setting drug busts are proof that the security measures we've put in place are actually working. So no, terrorists are not pouring in through the southern border. And like Pelosi said, this move will not only be challenged in court by the Democrats, and frankly the emergency declaration hasn't got much of a leg to stand on, what with there being no emergency, but the precedent will be set for the next Democrat to also declare national emergencies of his or her own if they run into issues in Congress. And these are emergencies that actually hold water, like gun violence, which claimed the lives of 40,000 Americans last year, including 17 people in Parkland, Florida 1 year ago today, or climate change, which is not only costing us billions of dollars, but will permanently alter the landscape of this planet if we fail to act immediately. Trump's declaration shows us a few things. It shows that Trump doesn't care about the future of the Republican Party, that he's willing to put the GOP in a dismal negotiating position with regard to future national emergencies, also that he can get his vanity wall and see a monument with his name on it. It shows that Trump takes his orders not from advisors and national security experts, but from Hannity and the rest of his far-right sycophants at Fox News.
But the important third step needs to happen simultaneously, and that would be the president would need to declare a national emergency. This is the time. That is a necessity.
At least the leader of the free world is deferring to a credentialed journalist, though.
Well, I don't claim to be a journalist.
Oh. And then there's Mitch McConnell, who gave Trump his blessing for the emergency declaration today, despite reports of unease by his caucus.
Mr. President.
Leader McConnell.
I've just had an opportunity to speak with President Trump, and he, I would say to all my colleagues, has indicated he's prepared to sign the bill. He will also be issuing a national emergency declaration at the same time. And I've indicated to him that I'm going to support the national emergency declaration. So for all of my colleagues, the President will sign the bill. We'll be voting on it shortly.
Now, keep in mind that Mitch McConnell is the single most shameless man in politics, that he stands for exactly nothing, and that his moral floor is somewhere between Death Valley and the depths of hell. So the likelihood that he'll turn around during the next Democratic administration and grandstand against a Democratic national emergency is somewhere north of 100%. But more likely is that Trump knows this emergency declaration won't survive the courts, but he'll at least be able to tell his keepers and his fans that it wasn't for lack of trying, that the Democrats rigged the judicial system too, and that investigation should be open on everyone. Everyone except him, that is. But remember this day, because it's going to come back to haunt the Republican Party.